Right, Q1 it's Kaka Kayobi. Today is Tuesday, November 22nd, 2022, here in Pacifica, California. The low was 46, and I think it's about like 62 right now. A nice day right before Thanksgiving. Today, I'm just going to talk about, we're going to do the MTB Cribs style. What is in my tub? And this is during the winter. During the summer, it's pretty much the same. But again, this is when I'm not breeding or we're not picking up eggs or anything. So this is what I have in my tub. We're going to do it MedakaMetal style. The metal in Medaka today's Joe Satriani, Surfing with the Alien, released back in 1987. This album basically shaped what has become like the guitar instrumental album. When I first heard Always With Me, Always With You on MTV, I just didn't know what to think. I didn't even know that this type of music, just guitar only, music, guitar, electric guitar telling a story existed. Got this autographed by Joe in San Francisco, Tower Records, 1992, but awesome. All right, so let me take a real quick sip. The best beer of the day is the beer. I think I only have like 2 or 3 more sips left, but that's the best beer of the day. Kanpai Chin Chayo. Okay. So what did he say? What's in my fridge? But what's in my tub? This is the one that I emptied out like a week or 2 ago, and now I gotta reset it, put in new water and all that stuff. So as I was looking at it, it's like, well, let me just dig out what's in here and try to kind of show how I maintain my tubs outdoors, in my or in California, basically Pacific California. So first, this houses the beneficial bacteria, which basically balances the water, keeps the water in balance. Bacteria need space to live, and when you have a tub like this, or even an aquarium, you want some type of media. And since I have a bare bottom, basically, bare bottom means I don't have any sand, I don't have any gravel down there. I put the media in this, and I use lava rock. There's a lot of other things that you could use. I use lava rock just because I have it around, and it's inexpensive. It has a lot of pores. But the downside to this is that lava rock, there are a lot of sharp edges. So when the Medaka swim by there, they do have a chance, like when they're startled, they might just dart out, right? And they do have a chance of scraping there, scratching themselves. So that's something that you should kind of consider, I guess, if you're choosing lava rock. But it's very inexpensive in the US. It's cost effective, and I tend to just kind of use what's around instead of just buying the next thing. In contrast, like when you watch or look at a lot of the Japanese Medaka enthusiasts, they use akadama because akadama in Japan is very inexpensive. Akadama is used by people that have bonsais, right? They drain a lot of water. They hold on to the nutrients, and in Japan it's inexpensive, so people use that. But one thing, I mean, you could get them in the US through Amazon or your local like bonsai stores, but just know that it lowers the pH, so it makes it more acidic, right? So neutral being 7.0, akadamas will bring down the pH, which is okay because Medakas tend to like lower pHs, 6.5 to 7, in between there. But just make sure that you know your water parameters, your local water parameter, before using it, because if you use a lot, just know that the pH is going to drop. But it is pretty expensive in the US if you get a good quality one. If money, I mean, if I had it sitting around there, I would probably use what you see at the aquatic stores, right? Those white bio rings, those ceramic bio rings, those are probably the best. They're designed for beneficial bacteria to grow. You get a lot of water flow, and there's a lot of pores. But again, it's not the most cost effective. So when you have a lot of tubs, I mean, you just want to kind of do what you could do. But again, if I had unlimited funds, I would use those bio balls, like, or rings, right? They have balls, but the rings, like, all the manufacturers make it. So item number 2 in my fridge tub, items, plants. I brought this up, I think a month ago. I'm trying this out. It seems like these guys do well outdoors in colder temperatures. These are anacaris. I bought some locally on Craigslist. I don't have a lot to disperse. I mean, I dispersed whatever I had to all these tanks. During the summer, let me see. Oh, here. During the summer, I use water hyacinth. I don't use these during the winter because they turn brown and they die off, basically. I like these because as they float, it creates a safe space, right? And again, these are, I'm talking about non-breeding tubs, right? I'm not collecting eggs from these, so it doesn't really matter. So I like to use this during the warmer months, and they're easy to propagate. You just rip the ends off and you could easily create other babies, all that. But during the summer, the winter again, those guys are going to kind of die off, and this is what I'm going to try this year. And hopefully some will grow to the point where they'll have some type of a comfort bed. And the reason why I use plants, I guess the most important, what do plants do? They basically balance the ecosystem. It removes nitrates. It's basically a natural, like, detoxifier, right? Gets ammonia, nitrite, and then these guys basically remove the nitrate, which you want, because they'll kill the fish if you have nitrate levels that are way too high. I'm not going to get into that, but that's so item number 1 in my fridge tub. Item number 2. The third item, the last item, I gotta see if I have any. I don't know. You guys might spot it before me. Oh, here. A snail, a Ramshorn snail. This is my best friend, or the Medaka's best friend. Actually, my best friend is the heat gun, the gun that I use to measure the temperature that I carry around with. So this is my best friend. Why are Ramshorn snails so useful? And this is the same even if you have an indoor aquarium, but especially for outdoors. I mean, they could survive the colder, cooler temperatures. You may have seen these guys available at stores that are a lot more beautiful. This is a plain one. You'll see the red one, the blue one. You'll see kind of like the see-through turquoise color one. But my original ones, basically, when I bought plants, they hitched hike on the plants, and out of the blue, I had a bunch of these. And the colorful ones, I leave indoors in my aquariums, but outdoors, I just bring out the standard ugly-looking guys. So why do I keep Ramshorn fish in these tubs? They eat detritus. Detritus is basically decaying plants, decaying organic matter. Like, there's some leaves that fell in. They will eat Medaka poop. And you're like, wait, why would they eat Medaka poop? last week I was talking about, well, Medakas, they digest their food within an hour or two. So a lot of the food that they eat, when they poop out what they've consumed, there's still a lot of nutrients left in their feces. And these guys know, they go where there's something to consume. So one of the first things that they'll hit, aside from, or instead of algae, is they'll hit the poop. So instead of the Medaka poop sitting on the bottom, releasing ammonia, right, which becomes toxic to the fish, the Ramshorn fish, I need another. So come by Ginger Child real quick. The Ramshorns, they'll consume the Medaka poop, feces. And now they'll break, and yeah, but you're like, well, they'll poop that out, right? But the thing is, when they eat the Medaka's feces, and when they digest the remaining nutrients, and by the time they poop, the poop that's left on the bottom, it's an easier organic matter for the beneficial bacteria to break. Okay, so these guys are like a filtering source, right? Highly nutritious poop that was dropped by the Medakas, they're going to consume, and they're going to break that up even more, to the point where by the time they poop, it's just like organic matter that is easy for, again, beneficial bacteria to consume, so they can help balance the water. So that's the reason why I keep them around. So there's another reason. They are a very good indicator, a visual indicator for us humans. So let's say you have a tub, and out of the blue, and it'll happen probably more during the warmer seasons, if you see all of them kind of lined up close to the top of your tub, right here, that means there's something going on with your water parameters. Something's off. So if it's affecting them, it's affecting your Medakas in here. Or it could be your goldfish, it could be your koi, it could be anything, but it's affecting them. So visually, it'll be like, okay, why do I have all these Ramshorn snails all along the edges? You better do something with the water. Your parameters are off. Now, the population of any snail, but Ramshorn snails, it goes in parallel with the amount of food that is available. So they'll breed like crazy, but you're not going to see a lot of them if there's limited food source in here. If you start seeing a lot of them, especially during the warmer seasons when you're feeding a lot to your Medakas, it's an indicator. When you have like tons of Ramshorn swimming around or just stuck everywhere, it just means that there's a lot of food that you're feeding your Medakas that's uneaten, that sank to the bottom, that they're consuming. Therefore, they're basically like, okay, we can create more population. We can make more babies. All right, there's plenty of food source for all of these little snail minions to just grow. So again, visual indicator. If you have too many, you just know that you may be feeding a little bit too much of food to your Medakas. So again, that is why these Ramshorn, they're like my best buddy. They can't talk, but they communicate to me visually. And at the same time, they're like a cleanup crew. They clean everything up and they turn them into organic matter that is easy for the beneficial bacteria to break, right? So, and I think one item, the lava rocks housing the beneficial bacteria, the plants, or the plant, and my little snail here. There's also something else that I can't see, and you probably can't see because it's all microscopic. But I don't, after I get these tubs brand new and after I do my thing, I don't wash these. So when I do water changes, if I do, let's just say I'm cleaning a tub. So I remove all the fish, I'm getting this tub ready. All I do is dump all the water out, and I don't scrub the side or anything because there is always going to be a thin, slimy layer. A nice slimy layer of algae. Algae is life, it's a plant. So it'll have the same benefit, or it'll have the same properties as a plant that you put in here like that. Again, we may not see it, but it's all over this place. It's life. And it's helping to maintain and balance the water, right? And one last thing, let me take a real quick sip. 16 minutes, I'll try to wrap it up in the next 4 minutes. A seasoned tub is your best friend. So now, what is a seasoned tub? It's a well-used tub. And what do you mean a well-used tub? When you buy a tub like this, a plastic tub, brand new from a store, the surface is all nice and shiny, right? It's nice and clean. But imagine being thrown into a room that had nothing in there. The walls are clean. There's nothing. It's not comfortable. And for humans, I mean, that's more like a psychological thing. Or you have like sound bouncing around. You clap in an empty room, you'll hear the reverb, right? But when you have, when you're sitting in a room where you have decoration, you have things hanging on the wall, some pictures, some posters, you know, it absorbs the sound, so you're not going to hear all these echoes like, right? Aside from that, the benefit that a seasoned tub has versus a new one. So I'll try to make this story short. So my great-grandfather, I remember, he used to breed goldfishes when I was little. I was probably like 4 years old in Tokyo, Japan, back in the 70s. And he had a bunch of containers, and he would get some new containers, and he would rinse them out, which you should, because even now, whenever you get new containers, rinse it out, clean it, because a lot of these materials, they'll have some special coatings on here to make sure that they look nice and clean, so they're able to sell the product. But you don't know what kind of chemicals that they're using, or there may be a layer of something making it look nice and clean and shiny. So you always want to wash it. I use Dawn, liquid Dawn, just to rinse it out, making sure everything is gone, right? Because a lot of products will be toxic to the fish. I'll clean it with liquid Dawn, dish soap. I'll make sure it's completely rinsed, and I'll just leave it out in the sun for it to dry. Now, when I saw my great-grandfather, it's my great-grandfather, not my grandfather, great-grandfather, he used to, after that, get this like real coarse brush, and he would just like scrub the hell out of it, of a brand new container. And I was always looking at him like, what is he doing? He already cleaned it, rinsed it out. So what is he doing? It's brand new, it looks nice and shiny, it's clean, smooth. You know, with that coarse brush, what are you doing? And I didn't ask him, but I guess he saw me looking at him as you know, I think maybe I was like 3.5 or 4 or something like that. And he just looked at me and said, I'm creating more space. I'm creating more area. And I didn't get it. I didn't get it at all. Like, I didn't know what he was talking about. But now that I understand, or my later years, I was like, well, now I get what he was doing. So when you have a seasoned tank, everything's all scratched up, right? You have scrapes from things banging on it and all that stuff. But when you have a brand new tub, the surface is smooth. So what am I trying to get to? Smooth versus a coarse, rough, scratched up surface. What is the difference? He was like, I'm creating area, right? So if you can picture what's flat. Lay's potato chips. Lay's potato chips, flat surface, right? Now, Ruffles potato chips, it's like this, zigzag, right? So if you have two identical sizes, one's Lay's and the other one is Ruffles, you have the same, it's the same size, right? But let's say for the one with the Ruffles, you flatten that. So after you flatten this, it's going to become bigger surface area compared to the the Lay's that was already flat. With more surface area, it creates more space for the beneficial bacteria to grow. So all these microscopic scratches and all that we can't see, but that's here, it's creating more surface area for the beneficial bacteria to grow. So going back to where I started, I know it's 21 minutes and 53 seconds. I couldn't wrap it up in 20 minutes, but a seasoned tub is a well-used tub with tons of scratches. The more scratches that you have, there's more surface area for the beneficial bacteria to grow. And that's it for today. Domo arigato for listening to this again. MedakaMetal. So at MedakaMetal on Instagram, follow me there. If you have any questions, I'm supposed to do this, I guess, on YouTube. Comment down below, and if I do have an answer, I could answer questions. If I don't know, I'll tell you that I'm just not experienced. I don't know. This is what I read, but I've never tried it. So again, this is all about trial and error, and seeing what's worked and what hasn't. And I'll try to talk about what's worked for me. If I find out, like in spring, that something didn't work, I'll say, like, yeah, remember me saying this? Well, I tried it and it didn't work out. So it'll be a good place to kind of bring out ideas, experiences, what you've experienced, what worked, what didn't work. And it's the power of the internet, right? So, okay, so we'll do it again next time. Kanpai Chin Chin Chayo. MedakaMetal style. Checking out.